there have only been a few times where I have had thoughts of severe animosity towards a single person, and now is one of those times. I come home for the dentist appointment. I have a dentist appointment today, and I, it all checks out. Dentist tells me like, "Oh yeah, you're brushing good." She asks, "Are you flossing?" I tell her no, cause who flosses? Nobody flosses. That's not a real thing. That's bullshit. That's propaganda. Uh, and I get, back to my house, and my mom asks, "Hey, your hair's getting kind of long. Do you want to get a haircut today? See if they have anything available?" I say, "Sure." My mom checks, and usually we go to this one place, and usually my barber is, let's call him, for the sake of the story, James. And my mom checks the times I have today, and fortunately, they have no James. They only have four other available appointments, but they're all with one single man. And I think for the sake of the story, I used a fake name for James, so let's use another fake name for this guy. Let's call him, just off the top of the head, the Harbinger of Death. Let's call him that. And the Harbinger of Death, I didn't think anything of the name, surprisingly. And I just thought, okay, let's go in. Let's do that. Why not? I need a haircut. So, my mom books it. I go in, and my mom told me like, oh yeah, the reason, James, we tried booking an appointment, hair appointment with James for your little brother a bit ago, but he was busy. He was sick. Busy with sickness. So he, couldn't do that. So I just thought, oh, yeah, that sucks for James. He's sick. That sucks. I walk in, and I see, instantly I see James is cutting this little 8-year-old boy's hair. This the 8-year-old is like this little small guy, has this massive barber gown on. It's like in the original Mario movie, the live action one, the Koopas. It looks like that. It looks kind of like that. Or is it Goombas? I don't know. It's the one with the small head, big body. It's that one. And I say, okay, don't say anything to James. I don't know if he recognizes me. I hope he recognizes me. He loves my usual hair. He loves it. So I hope he recognized me. But I walk over to the counter. They tell me, like, oh yeah, Death can see you now. The great harbinger of death can see you now. So I say, okay, cool. Walk over there. Okay, for the sake of the story here, imagine this is the barber meter. Okay, this is the barber chair. It's laid out like this originally. So I think, like, okay, he's going to turn it around when I sit down. Sit down like this. Pretty much the entire haircut, he just has me facing towards the other, I guess, customers, the other clients that are getting their haircuts. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Oh yeah, thank you for letting me see what this guy is getting his haircut. Maybe I'll take inspiration and want to get his hair. No. I came in to that barbershop with a specific goal in mind. I just wanted a simple trim, okay? I just wanted 1 inch off the top, 2 inches off the back. That's what I asked for. And I tell Death this, and Harbinger of Death, he says, okay, sure. And he, has me face the other clients, as you usually do in a barbershop. Who would want to see their own hair? Who would want to do that? And he starts cutting. He starts cutting my hair, and I start to think, it starts taking a little bit. I start thinking, like, okay, maybe I should ask for a check. Maybe I should ask for him to check out. And maybe I should. And I just look over at James and the 8-year-old boy. And the 8-year-old boy is just talking about, the sweatiest skin he has in Fortnite. He says it's Eminem. Okay? Yeah, I have much better skins, okay? I have the original Chapter 3 John Wick. You're not cool, you 8-year-old boy. I am. I used to have cooler hair than you as well. James knows that. James loved my hair. So I'm getting my hair cut, and I think, like, okay, is he taking... He's taking a little bit on this. He's taking a little bit. He finally, the harbinger of death, turns me around. He asks, okay, do you like it? And I notice, I think the front and the sides look fine, but I asked, like, oh, can you trim up the back a little more? Can you trim up the back? Because it still was a bit long, a bit too long. And he says, sure, For some reason, he turns me back towards the rest of the clientele, back again. I don't know why. What is your motive for turning me towards them? I don't understand that. You did it. You keep turning me back around towards them when you need to cut my hair. Do you like facing all your coworkers and stuff when you're cutting hair? Because why? What is your motive for doing that? Anyway, he starts cutting, and I noticed something. He seems to be cutting everywhere but the back of my hair, which is where I told him to cut. I told him to cut the back of the hair. He's cutting everywhere else. So I think, okay, this is worrying. Maybe I should just scream and run for my life. What is he doing to my hair? What is going on? And eventually, he turns me around again, asks, like, oh yeah, is this good now? I still see the back is still long. So I ask, yeah, just a little more off the back. Back is still long. Turns me back again. I don't know why. I keep facing this way. I don't know why. And then he proceeds to still cut pretty much everywhere around the back. He cuts the back a little bit. And he turns me around, and no, he doesn't even turn me around. He's at the back, and finally, I'm like, back facing towards the mirror. Finally, I've had enough. And it's like, oh, I start feeling my hair. Say, like, okay, I think this is good. I'm nervous. I think you can tell I'm nervous, okay? I think this guy is playing a game with me here. He's trying to fuck with me. He can tell I'm nervous by it, and he's trying to push me far. He's trying to see how far he could push me. And I tell him, like, okay, I think that's good. Finally. And he says, like, oh, okay. And, my hair's all the way slicked back at the time. And, I like to have it out, so I puff it all out in the front. Because we're done with the haircut. For some reason, he fucking manhandles my hair and puts it, like, straight back. Like, I didn't just fluff it out for a reason. I like... That's how I like my hair, so I pull it out again, I think gets the idea and doesn't fuck with me. Thank God. And then we go over to the checkout, and I pay for the haircut, and the tip option is there. I like the place as the whole, and I like James, but I don't like death. I don't like the harbinger of death. But since I like the place, I don't want to have a bad reputation, so I tip him the lowest amount on the given thing. I was going to add a custom amount to just, give him an insultingly low one. I mean, he kind of deserved it, but I was going to do that because I can't, it would give me a bad reputation throughout the whole place. I don't want to sour my reputation with James. So, give him the lowest tip. Come home. Mom says, like, oh, yeah, I like it. And I instantly tell her, no, I don't like it. It sucks. Great harbinger of death. Don't go to him. Stick with James. Stick with the main guy, James. And finally, eat dinner, with this shitty new haircut. Get on the train. Back to Boston. And I, sit. There's only one train car available, so I sit, like, near the end of it. And suddenly, this crackhead-looking guy starts, walking around, and he sits like for instance, I'm at this seat. He doesn't sit like right over there. He sits like one over there, and he starts over there. And he's like, starts just instantly saying like, "Oh, do you have a Cash App? Do you have Cash App?" I tell him no. Uh, Secret is I do have Cash App, but what I don't have is money to spend. And he starts, giving me his life story, saying like, "Oh yeah, uh, my girlfriend, she just broke up with me. She's stealing like 50K from me. I haven't eaten in a week. Uh, so I could tell like so I say like, oh yeah, do you want I have some seaweed with me. I offer him like a pack of seaweed. I was like, oh, do you want some seaweed? Since I don't have money. And he says like, oh no, I'd rather just have a hot meal anyway. Like, okay, you say you haven't eaten in a week. I'm giving you food. Take it. But no, okay. He doesn't do that. And he, after he tells me his whole life story, he calls his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, I don't know, and puts her on speakerphone and just starts having an argument with her on the train. And he keeps, like, what's it called? I don't know what the argument was about since he kept mumbling, but he kept hanging up on her. And the girlfriend kept calling back and saying, like, why are you hanging up? Why are you hanging up on me? And, I don't know what's going on with their relationship, but it seemed like it ended well, which is good for him. He was saying, like, oh, yeah, what's it called? One of the main things that he was complaining about was, like, oh, she's not saying that she loves me before she ends the call, and he's saying that he loves her. But I think finally she says she loves him, and that happens. Ends the call, and then asks me again if I have Cash App. Again, I have to tell him no. Asks me if I have cash. I don't. Tell him no. And at that point, he pretty much leaves me alone. But, train stops, and another guy gets on, and he gets on like 2 rows in front of me, basically, like right in front of him. And this guy, he's just sitting there, minding his own business. So crackhead guy decides to move seats right to the seat next to him and start asking him about if he has Cash App or cash or any way to give him money. And he starts explaining his life story over again. Explains that he was a rapper, apparently. He was trying to make it. And this guy was just kind of listening in. And for context, the crackhead guy is white, and the random guy, he was eating, the random new guy who came into the train, he was black and he was eating Chipotle. And, what's it called? The crackhead, he asks the black guy, like, oh yeah, how old are you? Black guy says he's 19, my age. And, crackhead goes, huh. Yeah, you could be like my little brother or something. I think you might be my little brother. And throughout the rest of the train ride, he keeps harping back to that. You might be my little brother thing. As sort of like hey, why not give money to family? White guy, black guy, they're blood relatives, nuclear family, I think the term is. They're part of the same nuclear family. So they this is a long story. I don't know how far I am in. The crackhead is still trying to get food from the guy, or food or money from him, and he starts saying like, "Oh yeah, I can give you a picture of Tracy Morgan. You know Tracy Morgan, and Tracy Morgan is he's the guy from 30 Rock. That's what I know him from. He's like pretty funny in that show. But I don't know if I would pay for a picture of him." He says like, "Oh yeah, Tracy Morgan. He saw me begging for food one day, and he took a picture with me." Which I mean, Why would he want a picture of Tracy Morgan with somebody else? Why is that? Why would that be what you want? Who would want that? He tries offering that up, and the guy's nice. He gives the crackhead his Chipotle, and the crackhead, he said, I can't hear everything because the crackhead mumbles quite a bit, but he starts explaining, like, he opens up his coat and I can't see inside because he's directly 2 seats in front of me. But he starts saying, like, oh yeah, I had to like put down somebody. I always carry this on me. So my first thought is, oh wow, this guy has a gun. What? Fuck, okay. I should be wary of this guy, so I don't really talk to him for the rest of the time. I just kind of listen on the conversation. And the crackhead, I luckily, as you can tell right now, still alive. Crackhead did not end up using his gun if he had it. But finally, the conversation starts to get less interesting between the crack and the other guy. The crackhead just starts playing his raps for him, and honestly, they're pretty bad. So I just put my earbuds back on. I don't really want to listen to it anymore. It's kind of got boring. And finally, train comes back to where it's supposed to be. I get off and I go into the darkness wearing my new terrible haircut given to me by the harbinger of death, having now experienced yet another crackhead incident on the train. Also, I forgot to mention, I think the crackhead just like snorted coke at one point. Like I just heard it, like he put something up to his nose, just like the loudest fucking snort ever. Like nobody does that for simple nasal congestion. You like just try and keep it secret for nasal congestion. He fucking went powerful with this thing. Like he wanted it inside there. And I look up at him at one point. And he just goes like, "Oh yeah, nasal. Sorry, this was my nose." I was like, okay. I don't want to harass this guy who's possibly on coke even further, and who I didn't know at the time, but I guess probably had a gun on him. So I say like, okay, and with all that in mind, I just walk off back home. It's like a 20-minute walk home because the shuttle bus is too far away. Walk home, and yeah, that was my trip back. This is probably a long video. Have no idea how long it is, but we'll see. I'll probably turn the volume up in post because this phone always has a poor volume capture. But anyway, yeah, bye.